Hello and welcome to this webinar, which is on the Destiny project, Learning Transversal Skills with MOOC Courses. Now this webinar is aimed at HEI management, and it's the Destiny project, for your information, is a European Union funded project under Erasmus+. It's a project that involves 4 universities working in collaboration with 4 business partners. The University of La Laguna in Spain, the University of Staffordshire in England, the University of Crete, Dover faculty in Slovenia, and the 4 business partners are BitJam, EVM, Sentiment Analysis and Cadiz, each in the countries just mentioned. Now we'd like to speak to you today about MOOCs. So this webinar will cover what MOOCs are, their characteristics. It will cover the relationship between MOOCs and universities, current trends in MOOCs, and then it will go into more technical details about how MOOCs are structured, and we will provide visual examples of MOOCs. We will talk about the video formats that can be found in MOOCs, how evaluations can be performed in MOOCs, and we will talk about how to launch a MOOC course, but we'll go through those items fairly quickly because we want to discuss with you in more detail what MOOCs can offer, why they're good for a higher education institution. So we want to talk about what MOOCs offer to students, to academics, and to the institutions themselves. And then once we've done that, we would like to talk about the Destiny project, the objectives of the project. Why are we creating Destiny project MOOCs? How are they different? And what are the benefits of these MOOCs to work seekers, to employers, and most specifically to the academics working at your institution? So let's begin by introducing MOOCs. Now MOOCs are massive open online courses. They're massive because as many as 100,000 students can enroll, if not more, on any given course. These are absolutely huge student numbers. They're open. This means they're free. Sometimes students can pay for completion certificates, but these are optional. So if a student wants to study entirely for free, they can. They're online courses, meaning they're non-presential. Courses are run online, completely online. There's no formally taught classes in any classroom-based setting, and the courses are run using a combination of different didactic materials, primarily videos. Now the courses are designed to be very attention-grabbing. They contain a lot of interesting material, and the format and the content is designed to encourage creative thinking, to encourage networking between students, and to encourage autonomous learning, self-directed learning. They're all about improving students' ability to learn. Now, if we look at MOOC creation across Europe and the creation of MOOCs at different higher education institutions, we can see that MOOCs are being created all across Europe. We can see that as of February 4th, 2015, there were a grand total of 1,014 MOOCs. Now, if we look at where those MOOCs are being created, we can see that Spain and the UK are leading the way in terms of MOOC creation. Now, only 6 months later, so in a very short time period, there were almost 600 new MOOCs being created. So MOOCs are being created in absolutely huge numbers. And this is bearing in mind that they only recently emerged. It was back in 2001 we saw them beginning to be used, and they've really taken off primarily since 2013. So this is when MOOCs were really being used to share and encourage open learning. Now, the word free often is of concern to many higher education institutions when discussing MOOCs. They're worried that a lot of their time and effort may be going to waste. MOOCs may not be able to fit into their business models. But there are some examples out there already that MOOCs can be used in business models, that they can be used either to produce direct or indirect sources of revenue for universities, which is why we've really seen an increase in the number of MOOCs being created. But we'll go into that in a little bit more detail further on in this webinar. Now, where are MOOCs generally being created? Well, at this moment in time, we're seeing a lot of MOOCs being created in the areas of science and technology and the social sciences, followed by applied sciences and humanities and business, and then less so in mathematics and statistics and the natural sciences, and even less so in the arts. Now, the current trend in terms of MOOC creation is MOOCs are being used to cover content that is not generally covered in taught classes at the university. So it's to offer complementary materials. The courses are designed to be very attractive. They're designed to grab the attention of potential students, but they are much more focused on imparting knowledge that's needed by or of general interest to wider society, not necessarily to students participating in an academic course at the higher education institution. So there are MOOCs out there, which you may or may not have seen, that are aimed at satisfying people's general curiosity. For example, there are MOOCs out there on how to invest in the stock market, or how to create apps on smartphones, or there are even MOOCs out there on how to read Egyptian hieroglyphics. Now, it's easy to see that these would be beneficial to students undertaking academic degrees, perhaps in business in the first case, or history in the last case, but they are not part of a formal course. Now, MOOCs, generally speaking, when they are created, according to best practice procedures, are a minimum of 4 weeks long and a maximum of 12 weeks long. Now, in 1 week, one module is offered. Now, in 1 week, in one module, the student workload should not extend beyond the 3-hour mark. And now the idea here is to ensure that students complete the modules, that they're encouraged to continue learning. So we don't want to overload them with too many demands. Now, this is one of the reasons why in each module, the information is broken down into subsections, into what we like to call bite-sized pieces. And the idea here is to encourage students to study in their own time, when they can as well. So we might have a subsection that lasts 2 minutes, a 2-minute video. This is all in order to facilitate learning. Again, to encourage students to continue to the end of each module and to encourage students to continue to the end of the MOOC, to encourage completion. Now, the MOOCs will include in each module audio-visual material, theoretical content, and evaluation activities. There may also be optional activities. Now, the audio-visual material will in large part be in the format of videos. This is the most interesting format for the majority of students. The theoretical content may be provided in the form of Word documents, PDFs, it may be even links to external websites, whatever the teaching staff feel fit, whatever they think is the most appropriate way to provide that additional support. In terms of evaluation activities, students must participate in evaluation activities. Now, these can either be during a module or at the end of the module, and the most common types of assessment activities are either in the form of online questionnaires. Now, these are questionnaires that are automatically corrected by the platform, so the teaching staff don't have to be involved in correcting these activities, or in the form of offline activities. So these would be in the form of peer-to-peer corrections, for example. But one thing that should be highlighted here is that once the platform has been pre-programmed, once the MOOC is up and running, then teaching staff don't have to dedicate more of their time to the MOOC course. So this isn't going to involve any extra costs in terms of staff hours to the HEI institution. Now, what would this look like on the platform? Well, here we have an example of a MOOC on the edX platform. So up here in the top left, you can see the platform logo. Now, MOOCs can be branded with the university logo. So they can serve as a marketing tool for the university online. But in this example, we don't have any of that branding because we wanted to provide an example just of the standard platform, but bear in mind that it can be branded. So on the left here, we have week 1, which would be equivalent to module 1, and we can see how the module has been broken down into 3 different subsections. This is to provide 1 video per subsection and to encourage students to learn in bite-sized pieces. Up here we have the toolbar where students can select the different resources. So we've got the video resources marked here. So we've got 3-4 videos. We've got PDFs or supporting text documents to offer more theoretical support to students up here. Now, as you can see, we've also got a questionnaire. So this is designed by the teaching staff. The teaching staff decide what activities students have to do and the order they have to do these activities. So this is presented in chronological order, the order students are expected to undertake the different tasks. So that's what it looks like. Students also have the ability to download videos, take them away with them, study at their own pace. Now, in terms of evaluation, the MOOCs do include evaluation tools and assessment tools, but the important thing to highlight here is that once the course is up and running, teaching staff do not have to perform evaluations. They will run automatically. Now, higher education institutions are very concerned about the amount of time their teachers are dedicating to different responsibilities. And we want to ensure that teaching staff do not have extra stresses added on them. MOOCs are all about offering students self-directed learning. So this self-directed learning includes pre-programmed evaluation and assessment. Questionnaires that teachers make students do are automatically corrected by the platform. Surveys that teachers ask students to perform are not evaluated by the teaching staff. Offline activities and peer-to-peer correction that teachers ask participants to submit will be assigned to different students randomly by the platform. So the platform is doing everything for the academic staff. In terms of communication tools, the platform uses communication tools, for example, forums to generate debates, to encourage the exchange of knowledge and materials amongst participants. Now, teaching staff can create these forums, but they don't have to monitor them. So again, this is all about reducing the workload for teachers. Once a course is up and running, it's not adding workload. Now, MOOCs can use different types of video format to present the classes. There are 3 different types. The first is the presenter type, where we have the teaching staff, your academic staff, presenting their class next to a PowerPoint presentation on screen. So you see both the presentation and the academic staff at the same time. The second type is the video tutorial. Now, the video tutorial allows the teaching staff to decide whether they appear on screen with their presentation or not. And the third type is the conference style. Maybe this is useful for different teachers who want to be part of an international congress, but this requires support from the university's technical department. It's a slightly more formal presentation, but it allows the teaching staff to maximize or minimize their presentation or their own or different speakers who may be involved in that presentation on screen. So those are the 3 different types of video format that we can find in MOOCs. Now, once the course has been launched, the only thing teaching staff will be asked to do is to log in daily to ensure that the module is running without any technical problems. That's all. So if we want to encourage the participation of teaching staff, it's very important to remind them that if the platform and the MOOC are correctly configured from the start, then the platform will do all of the rest. The teaching staff will not need to correct work. They will not need to participate in forum debates unless they want to. The only thing teaching staff may feel that they want to do is to enter into forums to clarify students' doubts, to guide students either individually or as a group, but teaching staff should be reminded that the idea is for students to resolve their own questions and become autonomous learners, to learn how to self-direct their learning. MOOCs are all about emphasizing participation, emphasizing peer-to-peer comments, peer-to-peer communication, and so teachers should really take a step back. Otherwise, the methodology is not doing what it set out to do. So, not only are we trying to remind teachers that we're not increasing their workload, we're also trying to remind teachers that the whole methodology behind this will fail if they participate too much. Now, what do MOOCs offer students? Well, it's very important to keep in mind what students are looking for and what MOOCs can realistically offer. Now, students, when they take a MOOC, they're looking for training courses that complement their academic studies at university. They're also looking to receive classes from highly qualified experts in their field, and they're also looking to receive classes from prestigious universities. Now, they're looking for courses and content then that's not delivered in their higher academic institution necessarily, and also they're looking maybe to see what's happening internationally at international universities. Essentially, the students of MOOCs are people who are keen to learn more, and they're students who are there to fulfill their own personal curiosity, and they're students who are there to improve their CVs, and they're students who really want to push their own boundaries, to push themselves to learn more and more. Now, MOOCs can answer those demands from students because they do offer a wide range of subjects. They're enabling students to direct their learning because students are able to study at their own pace, when they want, how they want, because online classes enable students to learn anywhere at any time. And MOOCs are able to meet students' demands for prestige because they offer training delivered by competent experts, by university professors, and they are offering training delivered by prestigious universities and the academic staff of those universities. So this is why MOOCs should be of interest to higher education institutions, because they're helping you to reach out to an international audience of demanding students, curious minds. They're able to offer you an affordable promotional and marketing tool. They're able to offer you international visibility. They're able to help you highlight the different lines of research taking place at your higher education institution and help set you apart, to help give you prestige and international reputation. Because MOOCs can help you act or can help your university share information about its important findings to undergraduates, to postgraduates, to exchange students, even to visiting professors. Essentially, MOOCs are a tool that can attract all of these people to your institution. If you join in the creation of MOOCs as well, something that's relatively new in the academic world, you're also going to find that you've got an opportunity to join some of the world's most prestigious international universities in what is a new educational movement, a movement towards creating digital education environments. So, the question is, does your higher education institution want to be seen as an innovative institution? We believe that the answer to that question is yes. So how can you be innovative? Well, you can join this innovative process of applying new learning methodologies. You can enjoy being part of the creation of digital universities. And very importantly here, you can create an online brand for your higher education institution. Now, at the moment, your brand is very important, but if it's not being talked about internationally, then as an institution, you're going to fall behind. If you have an online presence, then that's going to be very beneficial to your university and to the academic staff at your university, to the research that they're participating in, and to future research. You're also going to be able to participate in supporting education everywhere, education for people who are lacking economic means to access traditional degree programs. You're also going to be able to support education for those who lack time to participate in taught degrees, for example, full-time workers. And you're also going to be creating more prestige for your university. You'll be able to offer quality assurance from your university in terms of academic excellence. Now, we all know that universities and higher education institutions have to give back to society. They have a social responsibility to give back. Now, MOOCs allow you to do this. MOOCs allow you to support education everywhere, for everyone, and they allow you to create knowledge and share this knowledge. They allow you to participate in growing this online body of shared knowledge that's now emerging. Now, as I said earlier in this, the beginning of this webinar, a lot of universities are obviously, and rightly so, concerned about their business models and how MOOCs can fit into their business models. How can a free course fit into a business model that has to generate revenue, obviously, to fund future research, to pay academic staff, etc.? Well, let's have a look at this topic now. MOOCs, although they're free, can generate direct and indirect revenue streams. In terms of direct revenue streams, they can generate revenue by charging enrollment fees onto the MOOC course, or through offering completion certificates that students can pay for once they complete the course successfully. In terms of indirect revenue streams, the university could offer the sale of complementary resources through the MOOC. For example, books or applications for smartphones and so on. But in addition to revenue streams, let's not forget a very important fact about MOOCs is they generate very affordable marketing for the university. Marketing that's not just local or national, it's international marketing that really generates its worth in weight in gold in terms of the international students it can attract, the undergraduates it can attract, the postgraduates it can attract, and also the knowledge exchange that it can produce in terms of visiting professors. Now, a lot of higher education institutions are concerned that MOOCs will require them to invest a lot in terms of administrative teams, but that's not the case. Once a MOOC is up and running, they do not require administrative teams, so they involve very few overheads, very few costs in the long term. So having presented a brief introduction to MOOCs, what they are, how they can benefit higher education institutions, I'd like to now talk to you about the Destiny Project, the objectives of the Destiny Project, the MOOCs that we are creating in the Destiny Project, and how those will benefit work seekers, employers, and also academics and higher education institutions. Now, the Destiny Project, as I mentioned at the beginning, is a project that's a 3-year project funded by the European Union under Erasmus+, Cooperation for Innovation and the Exchange of Good Practices Action. Now, this project is a project that operates across Europe, and it involves 4 higher education institutions working in cooperation with 4 private sector organizations, who you can see below. Now, each higher education institute is working very closely with a youth organization to ensure access to work seekers and local employers, to ensure recruitment and participation in MOOC study clubs. Now, the Destiny Project has researched the training needs of businesses, and it's identified what businesses consider to be essential competencies in their employees. And it's also identified the competencies it believes to be lacking in its employees. These are people who we're talking about. These are graduates, university graduates, who are looking for work. Now, as part of the Destiny Project, each university has analysed a different sector. So Spain has, and the University of La Laguna has analysed tourism. UK and the University of Staffordshire has researched healthcare. Greece and the Technological Institute of Engineering has looked at the sector of engineering, and Slovenia and the University of Dover has looked at the business sector. Now, what we know from the research performed in year 1 is that different transversal competencies are needed in each of these sectors. Businesses consider certain transversal competencies to be lacking in work seekers in these areas. And so the Destiny Project have set ourselves the task of creating MOOCs that will enable those seeking work or those already in work to develop the transversal competencies that businesses have identified as lacking, to develop these transversal competencies that are needed in the different job positions and job openings that are available in the market in the 4 sectors that we've been researching. Now, the idea is that the MOOCs that we create will benefit workers and employers alike. So workers will be benefited by being better trained in these transversal competencies, and employers will benefit by having more qualified and capable staff who have the competencies that they say that they need in employees. And the problem that we've identified is that training in these competencies is not normally offered as part of formal studies in higher education institutions. But according to businesses and according to human resources departments that were interviewed in year 1 of the Destiny Project, these are competencies that are of great importance. Now, the Destiny Project MOOCs involve more than just providing an online course, more than just providing an online MOOC. It is very much about offering training that assists participants in acquiring, developing, or improving certain transversal competencies or skills. So generally speaking, transversal skills and competencies are very difficult to teach. It's a very hard task to teach them. To do so requires using a practical methodology involving training drills. So we've set ourselves a challenge, and that challenge is of designing and delivering training to develop participants' understanding of the following skills: team leadership, teamwork and collaboration, verbal and non-verbal communication, problem solving, professional ethics, etc. There's a list of transversal competencies that must be met, but by creating Destiny Project MOOCs that are designed to teach these competencies, we will be benefiting the following stakeholders: work seekers, employers, academics, and HEI institutions. Work seekers will be better qualified. They won't lack the competencies that are not being formally taught in higher education institutions, but which are being demanded from businesses and HR agencies. It will enable work seekers to perfect transversal competencies that are required in their jobs in order to carry out their duties professionally. In terms of employers, how will they benefit? Well, they'll have skilled workers, they'll be able to offer better quality services to their clients, so they will have satisfied clients, and they will have the ability to better manage their resources because their staff will know how to manage their time better, and so on. But for those of you who are listening to this webinar today, you're most interested in how the Destiny Project MOOCs can benefit academics and your institution. Well, the MOOCs will enable you to offer education that complements formalized classroom-based curricula. It will enable your institution to connect better to wider society, which is one of your duties. It will enable you to connect better to businesses in your local community. And it will enable your institution to be one of the pioneers in offering training that is unique, training that focuses on delivering transversal skills using MOOCs. This is a project that's unique. Now, the Destiny Project, in terms of project development, we've completed year one of the project that involved research, but the next step involves now creating the MOOCs. Now we know what's being demanded by businesses. So it involves creating MOOCs that offer specific transversal competencies. There was a consensus amongst businesses that the competencies that were identified were fundamentally lacking amongst staff in all of the sectors under investigation. So we are using this webinar and this conversation to gain the support of higher education institutions, to gain your support, because it's vital now to the success of the creation of the Destiny Project MOOCs. We really need to ensure that HEI institutions are aware of the potential benefits of MOOCs, the benefits that have been discussed, but will be discussed with you in more detail with the local Destiny partners. And we really need to ensure that, in addition to being aware of these benefits, that you lend your support to their creation. Now, how can you support the creation of Destiny Project MOOCs? Well, firstly, you could offer your academics certain academic advantages to teaching staff who get involved in the creation of MOOCs. You could also create formal strategies or policies that will increase teaching staff's participation in the creation of Destiny Project MOOCs. And also, as an institution, you could identify strategies that will support the development of perhaps a new economic model, a model that would enable the MOOCs being used to generate revenue for the university, either directly or indirectly. So we hope that with this webinar, we've made it clear the potential advantages of using MOOCs. We hope we've made it clear the advantages of being involved in the creation of Destiny Project MOOCs. And we hope that together with the local Destiny partner, you'll be able to discuss your involvement in the Destiny Project MOOCs in a bit more detail. If you'd like more information on the Destiny Project or on how to participate, please use the email provided by your local Destiny partner. Thank you for your time.